everybody. It's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore coming at you.
And before we start off our video, just wanted to give a huge thanks to those of you who continue to support us.
Announcements.
And again, if you would like to support us, you can just click the PayPal link below. And again, it's just been such a blessing on this this whole time for every single person who's ever given. And
in 4 days, we will have been here a year.
Yeah, just
a year,
which is just
it's
amazing and crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just truly like we're beyond blessed by God because of you guys and how He puts it on your heart to give to us, and so it's just been awesome.
Because it's constantly a need, it's constantly there, staring us in the face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, but.
God is faithful all of the time.
Pretty much.
And
we're a living, breathing testimony of it.
We really are.
It's awesome. You get afraid to step out in faith, which is kind of what we're going to talk about today. You get afraid to step out in faith, and then you just don't do it. And you really do miss out.
Yeah.
But if you step out of that proverbial boat of life, you will find that you can walk on the word and defy physical, conventional wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can walk on the water of life and just experience the miracle of God, experience a life that God has for you that maybe the world might advise you not to go into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that really,
honestly,
with
that in mind.
With that,
that was a good setup,
it
right?
really is. It's a good little segue. But really, that's kind of what our video is about today. It's about just breakthrough, really, and having victory.
On so many levels. So today's Friday.
Yeah, today's
Friday. So let's backtrack to Wednesday. Yeah.
So this all took place on
We're not going to give you the War and Peace version,
no.
Okay? We're not going to give you South by Southwest or something,
No. But so on Wednesday, and both of us had actually been praying. I had actually been praying to be able to go and see the lights at the Opry Mills Hotel. And it was just because I just thought it would be so fun. We actually went there last year and we got to see
Opryland
the
Hotel.
Opryland
It's
Hotel.
Connected to Opry Mills.
Yeah.
The hotel or
that
the mall.
That
whole area here in Nashville. It's really cool.
Yeah. And so I was just like, Lord, it would be so fun if we could just go. And so will you just provide for us to go? And at the same time, you had been praying, for weeks.
Yeah. I wanted to go to Opry Mills because they have a Lego store out there. And I wanted to go out there, but I was like, Lord, this is your life, your money, your time, all of it's yours. That's kind of the life we live, right?
Yeah.
Where it's all yours. And then I've been laying that thing down for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was just like, because the Lord, He was like, it would be cool, because sometimes the Lord tells you to step out in faith and go do something you think is like, oh, I don't think we can do that. And He tells you to do it anyway. But then other times it's like, oh, I think we could do that. And He goes, no, not right now.
Yeah.
Because it's all about listening to the Lord and being obedient to His Spirit. That's literally the only thing that matters. Newsflash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
basically we had both been praying about it. But hadn't even really talked to each other about that. It was one of those, petitions between you and the Lord kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, wow, I think we have an opportunity to go. And at first,
it just worked out. It was just like, this is going to work out well if we just go.
Yeah. And so at first I was just like, oh no, that trigger of fear of, I don't know if we can. And so then it was just like, okay, Lord, I give that to you. If you're saying go, we're going to go. And we're like, okay, so we start making plans. We're going about all our plans. And then we go.
Well, wait. Before that, though, I had prayed about it.
Yes.
Because, for me, I have to pray about stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? Lord, what are you saying? And I felt like the Lord was like, just go.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know how much that's going to cost. And,
yeah.
And it's like, it's like, okay, well, we'll just go.
Yeah.
And then you can, okay.
Yeah. And so we were making all the plans. We're getting ready to leave. And then we go to get the Uber. And as soon as we go to get the Uber, it pops up how much the price is going to be to just go there.
It was insane.
It was almost 3 times the normal amount.
It was insane.
It was insane. And so we were just like, whoa, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. And so,
it's just not gonna work.
You know, we're all ready to go, and we basically are just like, all right, guys, we're sorry. You know, we thought we were going to go there, but there's just no way.
Kids are disappointed.
We can't go there. I know this is disappointing. So basically, we're just like, okay, we can't go. We know you're disappointed, but that's just the way it's going to be. Maybe we can just pray. You know, this is why we need to be praying that and asking God for the promise. But
that's what I said.
Yeah.
I was like, see, this is the reason. I was like, I want you guys to take this and put it in your prayer canon. And this is the reason why we need to be praying and always be just like moving forward and pressing into God's heart to say, God, you know, your timing, all of that, it's yours. But man, we're praying to get out of here.
Yeah. We're grateful
that you brought us through, but we're ready to get to the other side and all that stuff. That's what I was saying, right? But in this whole time that we're backing away from going, I really, really felt in my spirit just a sense of like no in the spirit. It was really difficult. I was having a hard time just explaining what I was feeling, you know, because I was like, it was weird. It was almost like there was this watery flow of the Lord. Things were just flowing, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden it just turned into concrete. You know what I mean?
And there was confusion. And just
I was like, oh man, I guess I wasn't hearing from the Lord there. There was no self-centered, selfish, ambitious agenda that was going to, you know, maybe deceive me into thinking I wasn't hearing from the Lord right. No, it was just like, Lord, what are you thinking? Yeah. He's like, I think you should just go. And you pretty much got the same word. Yeah. It was like, just go. Before we found out how much it was going to cost. And I was like, whoa. And so I checked to see, like, again, like how much it was going to cost. It was even more than before. Yeah. And I was like, there's no way. Because I was like, okay, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe, I don't know. Because I was trying to deal with what was going on inside of me. I was like, well, and it was even more. And I was like, there's no way. Yeah. The Lord can be telling us to go. There's just no way. Yeah. It's not possible. I'm just like, but I could not. All the physical circumstances were not doing anything to turn around this sense I had in me of going. You know, just this, you go, man. I said you could go before you saw all the stuff. Yeah. I said you could go before all of that. And I was like, and then you were like, we should just pray.
Yeah, I was just like, you know, because we were feeling the confusion, and so I just like, all right, let's just sit down. Let's just pray, because we don't want to do anything. Yeah,
the atmosphere just completely changed. Yeah. It was completely changed. And I was like, wow, there was no peace. It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just like, okay, we just need to pray, because we don't want to go off and just do anything. And so I prayed just a little bit.
Because we wanted to.
And then you basically were just like, oh, you know, staying. What did you say?
Well, I said, I feel like staying is by safe. Yeah. But going is by faith. And I'd learned a long time ago, my YWAM years, you can't have both. Yeah. You know, safety and security in God's heart is a completely different thing. Yeah. You know, or in ours, rather. Not in God's, but... And it was just like, if you're walking by faith, you actually are safe. Yeah. You know, but a lot of times we try to protect ourselves and keep ourselves from we just try to preserve ourselves. Yeah. But we use mechanisms of just fear. Yeah. We use the fear machine to protect ourselves. Yeah. From, I don't know, making a bad decision or something.
It's all fear-based, but it masquerades as wisdom.
Exactly. It masquerades as wisdom.
And it was just like, it was clear that the peace of God was on us going and not staying.
Yeah.
And so once we realized that, we're like, all right, we're going.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
I was like, we just gotta go.
And we were just like, Lord, we repent for shrinking back, because that's really what it was.
Yeah.
We got scared, and it was just humorous because this morning, or that morning, I had been dealing with the fear, and Devin, he was like, hey, it's just fear that's coming over you. And then that afternoon,
it's like we've been here for a year and God's provided for us. There's no place for that. And then I get the Uber and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not good. Like, this is a lot of money. This is crazy.
And so we did. We ended up going. And
but the thing of it is, we ended up getting. I was like, whatever,
okay,
fine.
We're gonna do the
We
Uber.
made up our mind.
Yes.
We made we were like, we're just gonna go because we really feel like this is the Lord. Like, okay, there's obviously way more to this than we realized or whatever. But the bottom line is, we know that this is the Lord. Okay, we're just gonna go. So I got on Uber, and the price had been cut in half.
Yeah.
Like within minutes.
Yeah.
It was like half of what I was like, oh. Okay, that's about what I was going to pay anyway.
Yeah.
So, or I was willing to.
Yeah.
But, so I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
That God knew what he was doing. And he used that whole circumstance to say, see?
Yeah.
You know, you guys got to trust me.
Yeah.
You know, you got to trust me every day.
Yes.
Not just, because you can live this lifestyle and kind of get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then God's got to do things to keep you on your toes. It reminds me of how he used to deal with his disciples. Mm-hmm. They kind of got used to him after a while, and then he raised a man from the dead, and they were like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, we forgot. You're the Son of God. Oh, that's right. You know what I mean? Or he comes to him walking on the water.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wow. You're amazing. I totally forgot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like we were reminded of that Wednesday. And it was just like, man, no, you guys, you always have to trust me, and you always have to walk by faith. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm saying go, you know I'm not leading you to crash into a wall. I wouldn't say, Peter, come on out, and then knowing he was going to fall right into the lake.
Yeah.
It was like, God's like, I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
It's like, I am inviting you. You want the invitation? I'm sending out the invitation. You know? Yeah. And I'm saying, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you believe in what happened when Peter got afraid, well, you obviously, bad things happened to him. He got a little wet.
Yeah.
But it's like, it doesn't. And what did Jesus do? He grabbed him immediately after he called out. He grabbed him. And he's like, why did you doubt?
Yeah.
Why did you doubt? And so.
Yeah. So that was
kind of like a little breakthrough lesson for us.
It was. And we honestly were just kind of like, wow, Lord, thank you. We were actually very thankful that even like our kids, like they got to see the process. They got to see
how we do.
It was like, wow,
awesome.
Okay, this is what it looks like when you start shrinking back, but when you step out in faith, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And so we were able to go, and we had a great time and all of that. And then we came back and we were doing our God time, and that was just amazing.
Gosh.
So then at God time, it just ended up being such an awesome
It was amazing.
night. So basically, I mean, it was just kind of regular, normal, we were doing worship, and then we started into prayer, and it was just like God just met us there. And really the biggest thing was our daughter. She has just been, I mean, really honestly, this whole year has been really difficult for her, especially in the last few months. Just really, she's been dealing with a lot of anxiety and
a lot of fear.
And it's been something that God has just been working on. And so, but she got to this point in prayer. She just, we've been talking to him really since last Monday. God was talking to us about prayer and just really listening to his heart. And so that's been just what we've been going over, trying to just really, really help them along with, listening to the Lord and praying and just pouring out what's on their heart. And so she just started praying, and there was just this breakthrough of she was just like, you know what? I don't need, like, how did she say it? It was just like, she was praying like, God, come in and help me.
Yeah.
And help me so that, you know, I'm not, because God times in particular have been very difficult.
Well, can I share?
Yeah.
God times for her have been a trigger because she's connected all of her pain to God.
Yeah.
God promised us this home. And as soon as we got here to Nashville, she's like, this is awesome. We're going into the home. We're going to the home. Just like any other human being would who has these desires and expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And God's leading you. And it didn't happen. It wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what's going on? And like, just like any other person, she was getting tired of hearing prophetic words. She was getting tired of like saying, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, and it not happen. She was getting tired of that. And so she felt like she was just kind of trapped. Really.
Yeah.
I think that's what she felt, trapped. And so when we'd have our God times, it was a trigger for her to be like, oh, I don't want to be a part of this. And she would just do her best to kind of like hide in her soul.
Yeah.
But they would come out, there would be all these behaviors that would come out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for worship time, she would be just acting out. She wouldn't be worshiping because she just like, I'm not going to connect to the person who's hurting me.
Mm-hmm.
So she would try to be, I don't know, she would use it as an opportunity to be free.
Yeah.
And then and throughout God time, it was just a distraction. Mm-hmm. And so we had to sit her down for worship. That's how bad it got. We just sit her down. It's like, you can worship the Lord, but just from a seated position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Bible time, prayer time, there were just these things that were coming out that were basically saying, I am hurting, I don't know how to deal with my hurt, and I'm just like, So what happens there? The enemy gets in.
Yeah.
And he begins to speak to her about who she is, that he says she is.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's just been, it's been difficult.
Yeah.
It's been difficult for a long time. And I think the breakthrough process began like a couple weeks ago, like three, 4 weeks ago.
There's been a softening that's been happening.
And because we talked about it in a video about like the sudden bearing of fruit and the breakthrough and all that. And I was like, it's blossoming.
Yeah.
We're not harvesting yet. I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And so what ended up happening on Wednesday night is she basically, so it became like a humility issue for her. Mm-hmm. It was like, listen, because I knew what was going on. I could see very clearly what was going on, but the Lord would not let me do anything for my 7-year-old daughter. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And he was like, no, Devin, this is between me and her.
Yeah. She
knows me, and she's going to have to humble herself. That's the main thing. She's going to have to humble herself and cry out. It's like, but I do ask God for help all the time. How? It's like, well, I just pray in my mind.
Like, and that was just something that the Lord touched on. He was just like, we talked to her about it has to be out loud. There's something, there's power when we speak it out loud.
Yeah. And then during this past week, when God's saying, speak to the door, speak to the mountain, speak, pray. He's gone from prayer and resurrection to speaking.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, wow, okay, this is what's on God's heart. And sure enough, she did that.
She did.
And you could tell she was getting hammered so heavily the last couple weeks that just, she was softening up and she was breaking. And she was just like, I'm tired of this. My life pretty much all day is miserable. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm done. She didn't literally say those words, but it was just like, you can just tell that's where her heart was at.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know what? The enemy's been lying to me and telling me that I don't like God time. I love God time.
Yeah.
You know? And he's been saying that I don't like God and I hate God, and I that's not true. I love God.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is just not, and I am done with it. And Jesus, I asked you to help me. And it was just coming out.
Yeah.
And it was just, woo, you could feel it.
Yeah.
You could feel just
and
the...
literally,
in
and
the
as she's
atmosphere.
praying, she was just like, I see the chains, they're broken. Yeah. And I saw it in the spirit too.
She saw a chain over her that was broken.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
and it was like, yes. And so it was just,
but
it was
ministered
amazing.
to me on multiple levels, because the Lord was like, see, that's why it has to happen. If you do it, then that's always going to be the thing that solves the problem, is you doing it. And it's like, there are times when you have to come to people's aid and all that stuff. But again, it goes back to being sensitive to the Spirit.
Yeah.
If God's saying don't do that, then you better not do that.
Yeah.
And it was so important. And she goes over, and I just felt led. It was like God was like, you need to release her to go back to worship now.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's got an anointing to dance.
Yeah,
she has an anointing to dance, and the enemy tries to pervert that.
Yeah.
She's got an anointing, and God was like, release her. Let her get up now and go back to her position of dancing again.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. She went, and she was not doing any of her behaviors, any of that stuff. And she stopped for a second, and then she was just like, God, I just pray that you would bring us back to our true identity and who we are in you and all that. And I was just like, wow, it was amazing. Yeah. There were fireworks.
There were
just fireworks going off in the Spirit, because she recognized, because she can hear from the Lord amazingly.
Yeah.
But she recognized in that moment, like, that's what's been going on.
Yeah.
He's been stealing my identity. I've been believing what he's saying about me and not what God is saying about me. And she was like, I'm done with this. I am not going to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. I am free.
Yeah. And so it was just amazing. Like,
and we had been seeing the 444s that day.
Yeah, we had.
And I was like, uh-oh.
And for us,
something's
the
getting ready to be exposed.
Yeah, it's always about exposing the enemy. But having victory.
Right.
And that was just the biggest
Psalm
thing.
Psalm 44:4 says, command victories for Jacob or something.
Yeah.
For your people, basically.
And so it was just like, I started praying, and just like, I felt like God was declaring victory.
Yes.
Victory over our family. Victory over just so much of, and what Annalise went through. It was just like, she has gotten great victory.
It was real.
And
it's what we've been praying about for months.
Yeah. And
I'm like, Lord, help us.
But it was so much more. I felt like the entire day was really a day of victory.
For everybody.
It was a day of victory for us. It was a day of victory for our daughter. It was just like all of it. And it was just like, wow, Lord, yes, and amen to that.
See, you can have that long standing prayer, but God hears it. He's going to answer it, and the day comes. The day comes when it gets answered.
Yeah.
And you actually see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so later on that night, just things were going really, really well.
Yeah.
And so later on that night, I'm sitting here and at this very desk, and I just felt like the Lord said to me, he just came to me like a friend who was like proud of me. Mm-hmm. And he was like, Devin, you've won.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. Now this is welcome to Devin's world. Immediately I go, that's not the Lord. That's me. That's just me or okay, whatever. I'm open to, okay, what does this mean? Is this the Lord? It can be just a mess, And that's why the numbers thing is just, if any of the people who are against us because we talk about numbers, if they really knew me, if they knew how like Lee Strobel I have been about the numbers, because Lee Strobel was an atheist and he studied and studied and studied and studied and tried to prove that Jesus wasn't real. And then he was like, how can I not? I have to. Obviously, this is so obvious. I mean, he was a hardcore atheist, but he got tapped out by the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
He got rear naked choked. And so I was just like, all right. And then the Lord said it to me like a couple times. Like, you've won. And it was just it was just a great capstone on the whole day.
Yeah.
It was just like saying you've won. Because we didn't shrink back. We pressed forward to get to walk by faith, really.
Yeah.
And when we did that, we were getting victories, and we were apprehending victories in here, in the Spirit, in the natural, and for our daughter. And, I believe it was like throwing a big rock in the pond, and that act of faith caused ripples in the Spirit that were just that rippled throughout our family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just really awesome, and then so the past couple days have been different. There's been different messages that have now come out of those victories. Like, hey, victory is not a feeling.
Yeah.
The feeling starts to subside, so you start to freak out. They're like, oh man, maybe I'm not free. Maybe I don't have the victory, which is what our daughter's been experiencing a little bit. And we got to talk about that today. But it's not a feeling.
Yeah.
Don't let your feelings dictate the truth. Either you're free or you're not free. Which one is it? And it's like, no, you're free. And she's very serious. She does not want to go back to the way she was. Yeah. She was like, I got to hold on to this. Come on, I got to hold on. But she's feeling the ebb and flow of emotion, and she thinks, oh, I don't have the feeling, so I don't have the freedom. It's like, no. No, let's talk about this. Let's discuss. And it's like, you are free. In fact, you were free before the enemy came to you. So it's just like, it's amazing what God will do in the lives of children when you allow him to. Yeah. It's like, dude, there's adults I know that don't know this stuff that won't allow God to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just been, it's really been very encouraging, so much even out of yesterday. Yeah, there's been just so much being cool reminded stuff. of the victory that we do have. Then we read Lana Vosser came out with a word that was, yesterday. It just went right along with everything that God had been sharing with us. Being set free from double-mindedness and anxiety and all that, and fear, and just making up your mind. Making up your mind, believing the truth, and not, being with emotions and all of that. And so it was like, we just went through this. Yeah. We literally, how many times do we go through a life thing and then Lana Vosser comes out with a word about it? Yeah. You know what I mean? That has happened a lot. Even before we moved here to Nashville. It's just like, wow, this is amazing. So it's just, I don't know, which is just, again, it's like, wow, God, you are so awesome, because, it really is encouraging when you hear other people speak about what God himself is speaking to you. Yeah. It's just this, like, extra encouragement, like, see, you are hearing from me. Yeah. Yeah, so it's just been awesome. Yeah. It has been awesome. God has, been doing such amazing things. Like, seriously, guys, we could literally do 8 videos in 2 days. Yeah. Just on separate little issues and little different encounters and things that we're having with the Lord. It's just been amazing. But I really, really wanted to touch on something. I gave a word not too long ago about how God's going to flip the tapestry and how he's, you get to the point where the artisan, he's done with the tapestry and it's time to be hung up. It's time to be, or like a tree, it's time to be planted, or something like that. There comes an end, and then you stand back and you admire the work and all that, right? And I tell you what, man, you got a word about how God's tying everything in. I just really felt like we've been seeing a lot of numbers that we've seen that have been very significant. Yeah. On this entire journey. And it was we've seen them at different times, but it's all of a sudden, just in the last day or so, it's God's bringing all these numbers. We're wow, we haven't seen that one since almost a year ago, since we first got here. It's like a fireworks of numbers. And I just really felt like God was just showing me, it's hey, I'm tying everything together. It's all those loose little strings. I'm bringing everything together and making, finishing off. Because that's what you do with a tapestry. That's the last thing you do, right? And then you flip it. Yeah. And it's just wow. And at first I thought, oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. And, you put it in the processor and see how it pans out. Yeah. But it has been, I tell you what, we were seeing, on the day in question, no, I'm just kidding. On the day that we went to Opryland Hotel and Opry Mills and all that, I saw this bus and it had a number 77 on it. And it just jumped out at me. And I was like, wow, I haven't had a number really jump out at me, or have the Holy Spirit really highlight a number. See, that's what's really going on. Yeah. And it's okay, well, whatever. And then I turned, and literally 30 seconds later, I saw exit 77 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. And then I was like, whatever, I don't know about that. And then this car, this car, I think we slowed down, and this car it was slowing down too, but it was going a little bit faster than us.
and the only numbers on the license plate were 777. I was like, okay, Lord, this is that point where I acknowledge that I think it's you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what are you saying? And so for us, 77's always meant Matthew 7:7. Keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking.
Yeah.
And it's always been in reference. It's always been in reference with another number. But anyway, there's a number that's always in reference to 77. That's another significant number for us. And we were just like, wow, this is crazy. And then we just start seeing a bunch of numbers. I mean, I went to bed or everyone else went to bed that night, and then I just stayed up because I snore, so I gotta let everyone else sleep before I go to sleep. And so I'm there, and I'm just getting a litany of 77s popping out everywhere, and 777s, and 17s. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm like, wow, okay, what's going on? The next day, I'm seeing, and then the next day, I mean, I don't normally share stuff like this, specifics, but the next day, someone gives us an offering for $77.77. I was like, okay, Papa, I hear you speaking to me. Like, this is crazy. And they gave that because they prayed about it, and that's what the Lord told them to give. That's what the Lord told them to give. I mean, they had no idea what was going on in our life.
No.
They had no idea what we were seeing that previous day.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
Yeah.
And it was just like, boom. But then, I mean, and then they just start coming in from everywhere. And I really felt in the spirit, the Lord was like, they're just coming in fast. And just to prove that what Michelle said was right. Mm-hmm. It's like, I am wrapping it all up now. I'm wrapping it all up.
Bringing it all together.
And it's like, and God, I just felt like the Lord was like, you know what's going to happen after that, right? After I'm done tying it together, I'm going to flip it. Yeah. And I was just like, whoa. And it reminds me, even now as I'm sitting here, it reminds me of that time when I was on tour with the band. Oh, it was 2001. And he gave me before I signed another year on with the band it was like basically from September 2000 to August 2001. And, and it ended then. But at the beginning, he was like, but this was like back in May of 2000, I believe it was, my bad, I'm mixing up the years. But anyway, but in May of 2000, he asked me to tour with the band again, to give him another year. And I was just like, okay, I'll do it for you. But, and then so when it was actually in August 2002 that I finished, but the Lord said that it's going to be hard. The next year, it's going to be hard. And he said it's going to be like climbing a mountain. Mm-hmm. And so I went through a lot of that year and it was as hard as he said it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I went through that year, and he said, but you know what happens when you get to the mountain, right? The top of the mountain, right? And I knew what he was saying. He was like, you get to the top of the mountain, and there's transfiguration. There's transformation. Yeah. And so, my time with the band came to an end. I got to the place that God wanted me to be in. I was literally there. It was almost like a move to Nashville type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I moved to a different place in Indiana. And so I'm there, and the first message that was preached in the church, my first church service at this new place in Indiana, the message was about transformation. And how God was getting ready to transform me and all this. It was really amazing, So I just feel like that's kind of like the same thing. Mm-hmm. God's saying that in that same spirit of like, I'm tying all these things together. Yeah. I'm tying everything together. And you know what's going to happen then? Mm-hmm. I'm going to flip the tapestry. Yeah. The ark door is going to come down. The glory that's on the other side of it is going to be revealed. There's going to be healing in the revealing. There's going to be a fulfillment of prophetic words that you've been waiting on all this time. And it's almost like Annalise, our daughter, is a sign of it. Yeah. She's a symbol. It's like, see, you've been praying about this for months, and boom, there it is. Yeah. Now listen, the important part about this whole journey is God said, you're not going to do nothing. You're going to follow me and do what I ask, because I'm going to do this for my name's sake. It is about me, And sure enough, that's been the process with our daughter as well. It's just like there are things that I wanted to do to hasten the process, to get things going, man, we need to stop this. This is just really, our God times are turning into, we call it prayer-renting. You know what I mean? It's prayer and parenting all in one, and we call it prayer-renting. And it's like, because you have this idea of how you want your God times to go, and it's just a glorious mountaintop transfiguration type thing. And a lot of times, this is the opposite of that. A lot of times, you're fighting tooth and nail. It's like, no, we're going to do this. And then God shows up and does awesome things, but it's like, this has got to come to an end. And God's like, you just got to keep praying. You got to keep going in the direction I want you to go in.
And just listening to what He's saying to do.
And don't do something He said not to do, which was hard for me. But I did. I was just like, all right, But it's like, so this is the deal. Her breakthrough is between her and God and our prayers. Yeah. That's literally the only thing we had to do. And I mean, obviously we're parenting, and during God time we're parenting, but it's like the actual breakthrough and the manifestation of what she just experienced. We didn't do any of that. Mm-mm. We did not do any of it. No. So that's what God is saying about the next coming breakthrough, the thing that He's getting ready to flip in our lives, and the thing He's going to do. We will not be able to say, yeah, I did that. No. Yeah, I did a little bit of that. Well, it's because I did this or because I did that. No. And that's why God has had to set my writing aside for a little while. Because He's like, when the breakthrough comes and you cross that proverbial Jordan, then you can pick it back up. Yeah. Because you'll know that everything you have and everything you're experiencing, everything you're walking in had nothing to do with that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you'll go on to do great things with that, but the Jericho thing, the financial Jericho of your life, that's mine. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take that down. Yep. I just want you to walk around and pray. Yep. I just want you to walk around and declare. Yes. I just want you to walk around the city that I am giving you, for a year and 10 days. And I just want you to speak to it. I want you to prophesy. Mm-hmm. I want you to continue sowing into the body through this YouTube channel. You just keep doing what I'm asking you to do. And then I will cause the walls to fall down. Yeah. Ain't nothing Joshua did or the nation of Israel did to cause those walls to fall down. They didn't do anything. You could go and speak to the wall if you want to. It ain't going to fall down unless the Lord told you to speak to it. Then something will happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? But apart from that, we had nothing to do with her breakthrough. Yes, one waters, one plants. Yeah. But we don't do nothing to get the increase. Yeah. That's a God's territory. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just been awesome to see the breakthrough, to have God to, when we came out of our 7 cycles of 7 weeks, it was about reward. Yeah. And then it was about, and then God just began to follow a theme: reward, prayer, resurrection.
And honestly, again, yesterday, he was speaking reward. So it's like he spoke victory. And he's like, what happens when you win, when you have the victory? And we went through Revelation and we read all the different rewards that were given for those who overcome, who are victorious.
Rewards, by the way. Yeah. 17, the number of overcoming or victory.
Yeah. And so it was just like...
And it was on the day that our son, our youngest, Isaiah, turned 17 months. Yeah. On that day, the day of his 17th month, he completed 17 months. That's when these victorious manifestations started happening.
Yeah, and
it's
so
just like, wow, this is amazing.
It's just like there's so much to that, and like again, last night, God was just hitting on. He's like, hey, expect reward. Yeah. And reminding us since you've won, since you've had the victory. Expect reward. Expect these things that I've spoken to you about. Mm-hmm. Just as with Jesus, he didn't go to the cross expecting nothing from what he did. Yeah. He went to the cross for the joy that was set before him, for the reward that was set before him. And the amazing, astonishing thing is we are his reward. Right. I mean,
he is ours. Yeah. Obvious. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's our reward as well, but it's like, but still, God made us to like stuff. God made us to like things of the earth and the things that he created. Mm-hmm. It's when you put it to a place of idolatry, yes, that's obviously bad, but that's not what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. That's what he's not trying to do. You read Deuteronomy 28. How's he going to bless us? Oh, I'm going to bless you with my presence. Okay,
Yes.
and no, these are his words. He said, I'm going to bless you in the city, in the field. I'm going to bless your livestock. I'm going to bless you. Basically, he's going to make you prosperous.
Yeah.
He's going to make you prosperous and wealthy. And it's not about the wealth. You know, and I think a lot of times with people, harping on not having wealth is an idol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just like, what does it all come down to? It comes down to just hearing the Lord, hearing from his heart, and just receiving anything and everything he has to say, whether it makes you feel comfortable or not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, the numbers thing made me feel uncomfortable for a while, but then it's like God kind of seemed like to take a break from it. And then that's another thing he was speaking. The fourth, that word fourth was coming at me from every direction. And it wasn't a numbers thing. It was a literal word. It was like forth, go forth. And it was like, you're going to go forth out of the ark. You're going to come forth like Lazarus, you know, and God's going to come forth. And it was just like, wow, this is amazing. And then we've had this number explosion where God's tying everything together. And so I am excited because he spoke to me that thing on the 12th, the night of the 12th, about you've won. Yeah. It was just like, man, you've won.
Yeah.
You've won. And it's like, yeah, expect the spoils. Expect the reward. Expect that. You know, I was telling my kids, I was saying like, one of the great things about being on a sports team is winning. Mm-hmm. You win a game. But oh my gosh, now you won the whole series.
Yeah.
You know? And then you get the rewards that come from winning the thing. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever that is. But you know what is one of the greatest rewards that you can have is when you go home or you get with your family and you get the reward of their pleasure in you. And they're just so proud of you and all that. See, all of those are rewards.
Yeah.
It's not just one kind of reward. It's all. Because you can get all those great rewards, but then if you go home to a family that's not interested in what you're doing, it's a contentious environment, and it's just like, it spoils the reward. Mm-hmm. But it's like great because we're citizens of the kingdom where just God's happy, you know, we're happy. You know, the people around us who will see how God's blessed us will be happy. And they're like, wow, God's done amazing things for you. So I just wanted to end with this one encouraging scripture from Isaiah 45, verse 19. It says, I have not spoken in secret in a corner of the land of darkness. I did not call the descendants of Jacob to a fruitless service, saying, seek me for nothing. But I promised them a just reward. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. That means it's right for him to promise you a reward. You know, the truth. He speaks the truth. Trustworthy, straightforward correspondence between deeds and words. That means his words are going to match up with the deeds and vice versa.
Yeah. Jesus
came performing deeds so that people could listen to his words.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, you know. He says, I declare things that are right. So that's what God is saying. He's like, I have rewards for you guys. I'm speaking a reward, and we're beginning to see a little bit of the manifestation of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're excited that things are going to have to happen, and we're excited, you know? Yeah. And it's like that word that Lana Vosser just gave, you know, we've made up our minds. Like, we've already made up our minds. Mm-hmm. But it was, like, interesting that on the 12th, it was like there was still a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of thing inside of us that made us want to shrink back. But we know, you know, staying on the edge of that wave, we can't be like that.
Yeah.
We just got to hear and be like, well, I really feel like this is what the Lord's saying. Boom. And then you do it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way the kingdom really advances. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, so I think that's it. And again, we just so appreciate all of you guys. And we pray that you are blessed and encouraged by this word and what God is doing. He really is moving, and He wants his people to have the breakthrough, to be set free, and to be able to, you know, be single-minded and just go after him and have faith, that unstoppable faith. And so, just
and we were seeing the 333 like crazy, remember?
Yeah.
It was just crazy. And it was like, wow, what's going on? And then Lana Vosser comes out with Jeremiah 33:3. That's going to be 2019. And I was like, what? God is just so amazing.
Yeah.
God loves each and every human being on the planet, and he will speak to you if you let him.
Yeah.
He will lead your life, you know.
Yeah.
But you want to know the truth? We hungry.
Very hungry.
So we going to go eat. I hope y'all have some good food out there to eat.
Yep. So
we're about to go get our grub on.
So until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.